Yo, 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 it is your boy, Nice versus Wild, and you're listening to another episode of Beowulf Sessions. It's going to be a heck of a roller coaster episode because we just finished the Great South Road Running Festival 2023. My knees is absolutely goners. And if this is your first time tuning in, it's probably the best episode to tune in because we're going to tell you how we pulled off the 2023 Great South Road Running Festival. It's going to be a little bit of a reflection, and we're bringing back Zach because he was pretty much there since day one, bringing this event to life, and there's so many more amazing organizers and collaborators which we couldn't get on board in today's session, but later down the track we'll bring them on and get their insights on what we did, what we can do better, and how we can keep going as the years move on and as we complete year 3. So quick reflection today with Zach. All right, man. How do you think this year went, bro? Great South Road Running Festival 2023.
Fuck, man. I think this year went a lot better than I expected, actually. The turnout, like everybody coming together, turned out really well. The set out at the park, man, it was so much better than I envisioned. So many signs, so many organizations participating, so many people came together, and just to set out and having everybody there, it was amazing.
It was so good, eh? It was so cool seeing all the charity flags on the day and how we made like the track off for the finishing and the roses and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool, bro. I don't think a lot of people understand like the prep work that goes, like I feel like I haven't slept for like at least 3 days straight after running the 70. But man, to walk us through, like, I just want to give credit to Zach. He made all the street signs. Like, we thought Auckland Council was going to call us and literally get in trouble, but we just risked it. Sometimes you got to risk it, right?
Yeah,
we
risk it for the biscuit.
You got to risk it. We literally made these signs, printed it, and Zach put it together. Can you explain the process?
Well, initially, when we were first talking about this last year, we're talking about how we could make things better. And then when we were making like all the maps and everything and making the guide, to be honest, it was so much harder than I initially suspected. Like I thought it was going to be, you just put a couple screenshots of a map together and, you write down what needs to be said. But so many hours were put into like research, like trying to find where the toilets are going, trying to find which way's the safest road to run. Like me and Naz ran the road before we put the guide together just so we can see which side of the road to run on is the best.
How many traffic lights there are?
Yeah, exactly. How many traffic lights, how many roads you have to cross, where the toilets are. And there were so many things to account for that initially we didn't expect to, run into.
Yeah. And also, before you go, there was a lot of feedback from the 2022 session run that we did that... sometimes like some of the kids got lost and stuff like that. So like I was like taking a lot of responsibility this year to make sure that we have like street signs. Yeah. And I'm so glad we did that. I feel like a lot of people resonated. They took photos with the signs and stuff like that, which I thought like made it even more cooler. Yeah. But man, you literally turned these around in like a day. Yeah. Can you walk us through that?
Oh man. That was another thing that I thought was going to be like, it's only going to take an hour to put these signs together. And we were kind of getting everything, like we were still planning so many things on the day. It was literally a day before the event actually happened. And I had to, get all the material and cut it all down to size and then measure it and get all these signs into the right place. And then there was so much material to process and to make these signs, and we turned around in about 6 hours or something like that, and then it was starting to get dark, and me and Naz were like, man, we got to put these signs up today. So we ran through and pretty much drove to all our destinations and started cable tying them and started putting the posts in. Like it got to the end of the day, I think it was like 8:30 or 9 when we put up the last sign,
and we actually got to wake up at like 4 o'clock the next day.
Yeah, exactly. Like we had to wake up so early just to set up, make sure that everything was all set up by like before the race starts at 7, because then we still had to set up, plus we still had to make speeches, and we still had to make sure everybody is all together, There was just so much. There was so much. Yeah, there was so much to do. It was crazy.
Yeah, man. I remember because on the Saturday it was bib. Everyone had to come pick up their bibs.
Yeah.
And we showed up at 10 o'clock at LMB Park to like set up for the bib. That was already going to take a few hours.
Yeah.
And like, man, it was like so like crazily like rushed to bring everything to life towards the last 48 hours. And I feel like you learn a lot in those like high pressure moments, like,
exactly.
Like, oh shit, we just gotta prioritize everything now and like just execute. And I just like, even the people that showed up to pick up the bibs, like we got to connect with so many amazing humans and individuals in the community, that are like, I feel like doing events like this, you meet such like such cool people.
Yeah, exactly.
That like, like just that you can relate to, and they're maybe on the same journey, and they're like trying to be better and stuff like that in their own craft and their own creativity and in their own journey and stuff like that. And I think there's a lot of strength in that. And I think the connections that we build in real life, and I think I talked about this in the last couple of sessions, I feel like that really happened this year, And I don't know, I just have that feeling, man, to be honest. And I think, just like how the day played out on that Saturday, I'm just like kind of still in shock how we pulled it off, to be honest.
It was crazy busy. And the wind did not help at all, honestly. When we were like categorizing everything, we had all the organizations or the merch that they gave us. We had to put all that and bibs and everything into different like folders, so then we can hand them out to people and everything's categorized and organized. And we were like, we set up a table at the park, and everything just kept flying because the wind was so freaking crazy, and we still had to get everything into their own place, but just having the wind there didn't help at all.
Nah. And I was praying for the Sunday good weather, so I was like, I'm gonna take this wind on Saturday. And we're so lucky,
Oh dude, honestly, I had a look at the forecast on Thursday, and it said it was going to be raining like pretty much most of the day. And on the event, there was literally like 5 minutes of rain, and it was a perfect day. We couldn't have asked for a better day, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, I think we finished putting the signs on the street, and I was like hoping for the council to call me, but they didn't, which was great. And we moved on and we made it through. So I went to sleep maybe at 11 o'clock at night on Saturday, and we had to wake up early as at 4 o'clock to go set up at the park. And we actually had to go check all the signs were there the night, like in the morning, just because we're so paranoid that somebody was going to steal the signs.
Yeah.
So Zach did a drive-through, right?
Yeah. First thing before we could even go to the park, had to make sure that all the signs up, because what's the point in like putting up all these signs if when the people that need it's not there. So we had to go through and check that all the signs were still there, and then go back to the park and set up.
Yeah, set up like the tent and stuff like that. And we had like obviously massive support on Sunday, because Scope and Feeds in the South and Multi Boxing and all these other organizations jumped in and helped us out. And I think it was just the community getting together and like making it happen on the day.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for all the collaborators and stuff like that. But man, how was the energy in the morning of the event? Before the run, like who cares about the run and how many Ks and all of that and how far you ran? Who gives a shit about that? But how was that energy in the morning?
Man, that was ecstatic. It was freaking amazing. It was, I can't even put it into words properly. Like you could feel the energy in the air.
The endorphin hit, like, and like just like the connection and
exactly.
Like, like I said, we spend so much time on our phones, and not very often we get to do community things in person. And I'm so grateful to be able to do that. And I think just being able to like even just connect with all these other organizations. And I think the coolest thing about doing an event like this is you get to meet some cool stakeholders and some big charitable organizations. And I think that there's a valuable relationship there. And now every year when we do this, it's a lot more seamless in terms of connection. And I think it just takes if you're thinking about doing a project or doing an incentive or an event that's similar to this or at a different scale, I think the logistics and the methods are very similar, because it's all about building those relationships, right? To be able to like let people know, hey, look, this is my idea, this is the concept, or this is the stages that I'm going to do, and obviously I'm going to have to prove it to you first before you believe the idea. And I think it's anything in life, like if you go after something, it's all about trial and error, showing them, hey, look, we made some mistakes in the first couple of years, but we're getting better now. And that's what a creative entrepreneur, that's what an entrepreneur does, right? They trial new things, they test the waters and see how things play out. And I think there's a lot of strength in that. And I just wanted to add that because I know there's a lot of people listening, and I know deep down in their minds, they've got things they want to create in this world. And I think that's all it takes. And I think when I saw everybody together at the park, I could see the energy. I could see that we're doing something positive. Yeah. And I could see that like a lot of kids, a lot of families resonated. And we got some really amazing content, which we can't wait to share. And we got some pretty good content of the bro putting up signs. So that's going to be good. But man, I think for me personally, the morning was probably the most important part. And I think it was seeing everybody together even before the run, and seeing how the passion and how we had those interaction moments, and how everybody just got together and set up the tents and put up all the signs, and suddenly everything just came to life. And you just, obviously I was worried, but you're nervous on how things are going to play out the night before, and you get barely any sleep. But when you show up and when you just believe in everything, it sort of comes to life. And I think there's so much value in that.
Exactly.
And how was your feeling before you sort of started the run?
Man, I was thinking this run is like, just the event alone is coming together so well. Like I couldn't even imagine how well it came together, having everybody there, everybody in with like-minded, and everybody trying to, everyone going for the same cause, just trying to change minds and trying to be better, have this massive goal in front of them, and just there to conquer it. And I mean, at the start, we were running with the kids, making sure that everybody was getting to the, getting through all the road crossings safely. And there was this little girl.
Yes, I
remember. In the gumboots, man, she was boosting it. She was going crazy, and that just put a smile on my face. It's just amazing to see, like, having the young kids of South Auckland come together and just race their hearts out.
100%, man. I saw that. That kid was beating us by miles. Like, she was like ready to go for it, and I loved it. Like, I that was the best part, right? And I think I think someone said this in the morning. They're like, "Hey, this isn't like a race. It's not about who comes first, who comes second. This is about we're all in this together." And I think that ideology is just so amazing, and I could see everybody, like, the synergy change. When I think someone said that, I can't remember what it was, but it was amazing. I saw that kid too, bro, and she put a smile on my face. And you're right, for the first sort of like hour and a half, I remember me and you were like, okay, let's just make sure everybody that's doing 5 and 10 gets back to the park safely. So we kind of changed the game plan for the big runs this year, because like not many people signed up for the 70. To be honest, it was just me and Zach, and a lot of people signed up for the 5, the 10, and the 22. So we just wanted to make sure that we connected with the community as much as we could before we went for the big 7-0, and we did that. Like, we made up our Ks for that first sort of 2-3 hours. I'm just running up and down the 22, 10, and 5K tracks up Grey South Road. And then once everybody was safely at the park and everyone was chilling, enjoying the sun, and hopefully it didn't rain, which was great, and we prayed for that, and it happened. We kept going, and let's talk about it. How's the legs, bro, after the 7-0?
Oh man, my ankles, they're destroyed. I gotta say, there wasn't. I probably didn't train as much as I should have. And my legs are definitely thanking me for that.
I'm with you, bro. And like, you can probably see my strap. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can go see my strap on my knee. It's just, honestly, my body, like my upper body's still fine. And like this side of my leg's all good. It's just like my right side. Like, if someone saw the real BTS at like K55.
Yeah.
Man, it was like crawling like a snail by the end.
You had like no movement in that knee. Yeah, you were just like not working.
Not working. It was so bad. It was so bad. I'm glad we made it through though. Like I think between like 50 to 70,
Yeah.
like it was the toughest, man.
Fuck.
I felt like that was not ending. Do you know?
I can't even recall how many times, because after we went to so the first one we did was we went to 5K and then turned back just to make sure everybody got back safely, and then we went to the 22K to make sure that the participant doing the 22K made it back, and then from there, since there's like hills in Otahu, so we were like, let's go from the 5K to the park, just because it's a lot more flat. It will be way better for our body. Yeah. Then we calculated how many times that we got to do that, and I think it was like 9 or 10 times that we had to do it, and each time was just like,
it was a nightmare.
It kind of all like became a blur. Like I could not recall how many times we went back and forth, and I was like, I do not want to see this 5K sign again. Yeah. And we're like, how many more times we got to do this, man?
I remember like just like how much we were talking between like 5 to like 26K.
Yeah.
And then bro, suddenly it just went quiet. Like we weren't saying anything to each other.
Yeah.
It was just like all energy mode was saving.
Yeah.
And we're just like, all right, we're just going to get the job done now, bro.
Yeah.
We're just going to get the job done.
Exactly.
Oh man. It was such, you know what, it was so cool because obviously we finished on Overton Road.
Yeah.
And like, obviously that's the dream. And that was not planned, by the way. Because we were like gonna finish on Allenby Park, but we just didn't want everybody to wait because we didn't have like anybody else sign up for the 70, and we just didn't want anybody to wait the whole day for us.
Yeah, exactly. We knew it was gonna be a long day for the run, so we didn't want people to just be sustained around for like 5 hours just for us to.
If there was like other people that signed up for the 70, then 100%, I think that would have been cool.
Yeah.
To be honest, I would have probably waited. I would have stayed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, but that was cool, and I think finishing at Overton Road was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Can't wait to share those photos. To be honest, those are pretty cool. But man, how was the finish for you? What was the greatest learning actually doing the 70 this year compared to the 60K last year?
Talking running wise or
just like mentally?
I think mentally, shit, man. I would say. I'd say it's okay to walk. You don't have to run the whole part.
Yeah, and that's us being honest, okay. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like we didn't run like if you look at the time, we didn't run at a certain time pace the whole time.
Yeah.
But we had an average that we kind of came through. So like even if you have to like walk a bit of a distance to rest your legs and then make up the time on the next K. Yeah. Like that's literally what we did, right?
It's exactly. That's what you need to do. And we definitely ran faster than what we ran last year. But it was just unsustainable to run the whole thing. So there was a lot of walking. And a lot of people, who come from the outside of like ultra marathoning, like when you talk to them about running, they're like, well, it's called a run. You kind of have to run the whole thing. You don't have to run the whole thing. Realistically, you're going to be walking parts of it because it's like a 9+ hour run for 100%. For us. It was like 9 hours 50 something minutes.
5 minutes.
Yeah, so it's just like it was a crazy long run.
Yeah,
and just realistically, that's what you kind of have to do.
100%. And with ultras, Royale, I think a lot of people misunderstand it that like. They think there's a certain thing about like getting a time, but really like I've seen some of the world's greatest ultra runners, and they always say it's never about the time.
Exactly,
it's about finishing.
Yeah.
Without getting hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
So like if you're thinking about this and like next year, like if you're thinking about it and like you're like, okay, well, I've been listening to this session, like I've been only listening to the Great South because obviously these BL sessions they have a lot more other stuff like business and creativity and all of that, and like every year when we do these Great South Road running festivals now, like there's like a session that it always drops, it's always about the event. And I think there's probably people listening to this and they don't give a shit about running.
Exactly.
But I think there's like ideas in these conversations which you can apply to other areas in your life. But I think if you've been listening to these, we've done like at least 4 or 5 sessions now on the event. And how we organize it and how we bring it to life and stuff like that. And if you've been thinking and you're like thinking about doing the bigger distances, I encourage you to try it, because once you challenge yourself and create like overcome what you think is possible for you in your life, like you create this undeniable proof of the things you can really achieve in life.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even, like, I always talk about this to you, like, it's never been about running. Obviously running's great, and physically, like, obviously staying healthy for your body and your mind, and being physically active, which is amazing, right? But I think it also teaches you the principles of how to apply those strengths in other areas of your life, how to stick to your promises, how to stay committed, how to go after something that you truly care about. It's about creating a mind that can withstand barriers and obstacles and overcome adversity.
Yeah.
And I think some of the greatest things and lessons have been taught on that road, on Great South Road. And I think for me and you, like, there's a lot of trauma, which I feel like me and you never really talk about. And I think when we're in those conversations and in those runs and we're silent, I think internally we're processing things. And if we're completely honest, don't you think that's right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I remember like even after the event, how much it changes us as individuals and how much confident we get.
Yeah.
And I think I could see that. Like, I saw a couple of people, show up from last year's event. I could see how confident they were compared to the year before.
Yeah.
And you know who I'm talking about. Well, I'm not gonna say any names, but I'm just saying, it just goes to show there's a mirror reflection here of something that's happening in the background that sometimes we don't see in the process of the action. And I think if you can act on it and reflect on it, there's something good that's always going to come by.
Exactly.
Damn, this was a good session. This is a good session. I'm going to go back and listen to this.
That sounds pretty good. Me too. I'm going to share it to some people.
But yeah, man, like, okay, who cares about the 70K? It's just a fucking number. What else? Okay, let's talk about the event. Is there anything like that you think in terms of learnings that we can apply to 2024?
I think for the next year's event, I think it would be a good idea that we did our run, just because it's such a long run, and it almost in a way creates a disconnect from us and the community that we're trying to get together. Like, if we are going out and doing our run, then we're not there with the community. So if we were to do the run the week before, we can encourage everybody, and then have the actual event the week after and run with everybody, and be there for everybody. A lot better.
100%. And Scope was saying that as well when I was talking to him, and a couple of the other collaborators and community members were saying that too. Like, it would be cool to have it later, because there's a lot of young kids and families that it's difficult for them to like wake up super early and get everybody ready. And I'm 100% like understand that. Yeah. And I think you're right. Like, next year maybe we should do the bigger run 2 weeks or even a month before, or even a week before, just so we can get some of that and use that as to promote the actual event. And I think there's a lot more wins in that, because it gives us a chance to focus on the day, just on organizing. Oh my god, I'm losing my words. But like organizing. And I think as well, I've never really said these on these sessions, but I think deep down in my heart, every time I've done the 50K, the 60K and 70K, I felt like I was trying to prove myself. Like, hey, like, I have to like be a runner or like do these Ks to be able to organize an event like this. And I think, like, if I'm completely honest, in these sessions, like, I felt like I don't need to do that anymore. And I'm very content. And I feel like the first couple of years I always told like everybody, I was like, man, like, if I don't do it, like, no one else is going to show up. Like, surely I've done it like 3 times now. We can like, like on the day, we've organized and I've ran the distance. And I think like, if that's not enough to show you like how much I care. And I think you're right. Like, this year, like next year, sorry. Like, if that's the model we go with, it just gives me so much more room. Imagine how much better we could make it if we're both there. And if we're both there with all the other collaborators and everyone else, imagine how much better the event's going to be.
Well, it would be amazing. Yeah, the more time that we can put into that side of it, I think the better, eh?
100%, man. Wow. All right, this has been a heck of a session. Before we go, anything else, man? Anything else you want to chuck in here? Any tips for anybody? Or oh man, my knees are so sore.
Yeah, I think if anybody who's wanting to get into running, I think there's something to be said about perceived limits.
Wow.
Because when you, especially the first time I did the 60K when you invited me, initially I was like, there's no way I'm going to do the 60K. I was already setting a perceived limit. I was like, there's no way. That distance is beyond my capabilities. And then I started doing it, right? And then even on the day itself, doing the 60Ks, there were so many times where I was like, okay, this is it. My legs are hurting. I don't want to go any further. This is my limit. I set another perceived limit. And I feel like in those times where you get those perceived limits is the time where you need to push forward. And this can be applied to anything in life, to be honest. Like there are times where you think maybe this is all I can give, but that's a time when you gotta step up and just push through.
Yeah, you're right, man. I'm with you, bro.
Yeah.
The limits were definitely tested and
exactly.
challenged, and I could see that very fondly, and I think 100% there's so much potential, and sometimes it just goes unnoticed because we just sometimes lack the courage to give things a try. And I think I'm glad we gave everything a go, and I'm glad you showed up, and I'm glad everyone showed up on October 15th 2023. It was a heck of a day, and I just want to say thank you to everybody that had the courage to show up and made the effort to wake up so early. And like I said on the day, you literally missed the All Blacks game, to be honest, and I couldn't change the day, literally, to be honest, I wanted to watch that game too, by the way. and everyone that missed the World Cup quarterfinals, good on you. To be honest, I was lucky the next day Fiji was playing. If that was happening, we were going to cancel the whole just so you know. But shout out to Fiji too in the World Cup. They lost today in the quarters, but it doesn't matter. Super proud of the boys, eh?
They gave it their all.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, man. I will see you in the next what's happening next year, bro?
It'll probably be the same event, but just a bit better, right? I'd say.
100%, man. 100%. It's gonna be a good one. Oh no.
So how far are we running next year?
We're doing this again, are we?
Yeah, we are. Do you want to announce it this time?
Oh no.
I don't. If you let me announce it, it's not going to be the number you think, man. So I'm going to let you announce it this time.
Okay. We're going to go do the 80.
Yeah, that's the one. I like it. It sounds good.
I know what you're going to say. Yeah. But I'm gonna let you say it. We're not ready for that. Okay.
One day. We're chasing that 100. We're chasing the 100.
All right, well, we'll see you at the 80Ks, mate. Good luck,
yeah.
All right, thanks for tuning in to another Beer Wall session. It was a heck of a reflection. There's probably going to be another reflection with all the other collaborators down the track. This was a short and sharp session. We literally ran 70K yesterday, and we're not going to miss a Monday just because we ran 70Ks. This episode is going to get released before midnight on Monday, the next day, because Mondays is when these sessions come out, and we haven't missed an episode for 74 sessions now.
Dang.
Straight Mondays. So thank you for listening. If you enjoy these sessions, be sure to chuck us a review on Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, whatever you name it. If you hate it, that's all good too. I love that even more. But yeah, peace and love. I will catch you on the next Beer Wall session. Thanks for coming on, Zach. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm very honoured to be a part of this. And I'll say thank you to everyone else as well for coming. Okay, do your outro. Sorry, bro.
That is the outro.
Okay.
There's no outro.
Okay, let's do
it. Okay, that was the worst ending. All right, guys, peace and love. Hope you enjoyed the session. I will catch you guys next Monday. Let's go.